Hello, I'm Mac Burke, co-owner of Two Reds Productions out of Nashville, Tennessee, and this is my review of the DTVPal digital to analog converter from Dish Network. This is a product that is eagerly anticipated and finally came out in late June of 2008. And we're going to show you a little bit about this DTVPal. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the digital transition. There's lots of information on the web about that. We're going to focus strictly on a review of the DTVPal. This is the actual unit here. It's very small, about the size of a paperback book. There's only one light on the front, which is the power light and an infrared receiver. And around back we've got connectors for RCA and coaxial for an antenna and the output to the TV. We also have, this is what else is included with the package. You do get a small coaxial cable, the user's guide, power supply, and what I think is a very well laid out remote control. It's got all of your basic functions right here. It was very easy to use to set up. And one of the main things about the DTVPal that people seem to like is it does have an electronic guide, automatically pulls in free of charge, a programming guide to help you see what's on TV, and it does a fantastic job. I'm not going to go over the setup of this unit. It took 1 or 2 minutes. Anybody can do this. If you're 5 years old, if you're 95 years old, you're going to be able to set this unit up with the on-screen guides right out of the box. Honestly, it's that simple. So let's go ahead and let's see what the picture looks like on a TV. Okay, so we've got our DTVPal hooked up. It's hooked up to a regular TV that up till now has been receiving over-the-air programming using a regular $10 antenna, nothing fancy here. And the picture quality has not been very good. We are literally just blocks away from downtown Nashville. Picture quality is really not bad. Lots of fiddling with the antenna to try to get a good picture. We've got the DTVPal hooked up, and the picture quality I think is stunning. It's cable TV quality picture. If we go ahead and we look at this, it's a fantastic picture. One of the tougher channels here to get has been the NBC affiliate here in town, and what had been a really bad picture to get comes in fantastic. Just a little breakup, but pretty much a fantastic picture, fantastic audio. Everything seems to be working just fine. Here we've got our menu for setup, for setting how program guides are going to work, events. You can set up this thing to turn on and off by itself. And then we've got the much coveted and talked about program guide. The program guide auto updates over the air, no internet connection, no fees, no anything. We'll go out upwards of 7 days. Basically just pick what it is that you want to watch, hit the button, and you're good to go. It'll turn on to that channel for you. We can see we have a signal strength meter to show you what it is that the signal that you're getting. For this thing, I'm seeing if it's under about 60, the picture's not going to be so good. If it's over 60, 70, anything above that, you're going to get a great picture. So far, so good. This has been a great product, great picture, ease of setup. Everything has been great so far. All right, for this test, I've come back to my apartment, which is located in Smyrna, Tennessee. That's about 20 to 30 miles southeast of downtown Nashville. So we're kind of removed or kind of out there from Nashville. And TV reception over the air here is very poor. The PBS station NPT comes in pretty good, ABC kind of, CBS kind of. NBC in particular, really poor, almost unwatchable. So I was a little skeptical that the DTVPal was going to help me here this far out from Nashville, but the truth is the picture is really good. It's as good as I would get with cable here. Every picture that I get, every station that I get comes in absolutely crystal clear. There's no problem with it. So overall, even this far out, I'm really happy with the reception I'm getting with the DTVPal. I do have two pieces of advice for you, two tips for you. The first one has to do with antenna placement. The antenna that we're using here is the same one that we've been using for all of the tests. When I initially set the DTVPal up with this TV, this is a 27-inch Sony TV, I'd set the rabbit ears off to the side of the TV on the table. This is normally where these rabbit ears would sit, is on top of the TV. While most channels did come in just fine, the NBC affiliate here did not come in very well at all. So what I did was, as a matter of fact, the signal strength for that was somewhere in the neighborhood of about 50, 55, maybe 60. So what I did was, is just as a test, I set the rabbit ears back up on top of the TV where they normally would be. And sure enough, that signal strength went right up. It's now more in the range of about 60 to 70. Once the rabbit ears were up there, once I'd adjusted them, the reception on all the channels was absolutely beautiful, didn't have any problem. So definitely the first piece of advice is adjust your antenna just like you would for over-the-air analog signals. There's really no difference in how you set the antenna up between analog and digital. You still have to get that signal, you still have to receive that signal. So definitely adjust your antenna just like you would for your analog signals. Second piece of advice has to do with the remote. Now, I personally really like the DTVPal remote. I think it's well laid out, it's easy to use. I really don't have any problems with it. The one downside is that it's not a universal remote. So if you already have a remote that can control multiple pieces of equipment, adding yet another remote is kind of a downer. I did some research online, and what I discovered is that the DTVPal, being a Dish Network product, can actually be, you can use a Dish Network satellite box remote to do the remote functions for the DTVPal. So I've got the regular remote that came with my Sony TV. It can control other pieces of equipment. You just have to enter a code in here to tell it what the equipment is. I did some research online, found a Sony document which told me what code to use for Dish Network, for a Dish Network remote. Program that in, and sure enough, that's what I'm using here to control the DTVPal is my regular Sony TV remote. And it does all the functions, channel, volume. I can go to the program guide with this. I can go to the main menu with this. So that's the other tip or piece of advice here, is that if you have a remote that can program other pieces of equipment, see if you can find the code that would let it operate a Dish Network satellite box, and chances are you'll be able to use that remote to do at least the basic operations of your DTVPal and eliminate another remote. Okay, so we've tried the DTVPal with a couple regular analog sets. I thought it would be fun to try it on this nice 42-inch plasma unit. Now, if you've got one of these, chances are you're not target audience for a DTVPal. And I did try this set with our antenna with the built-in tuner to see what it would do. On the whole, the picture quality is about the same, which is to say it's not very good for a high-def set. High defs just don't show standard definition very well, usually. When I did have an option of seeing both over-the-air HD and standard def for the same channel, we did see a little bit better picture with the high definition, but it's not up to par with what you'd get with cable and satellite even. So you're probably going to be a little disappointed. If you bought a set that didn't have a built-in high def tuner, you're probably going to want to go with a much higher end unit that's going to give you better quality. The DTVPal is not going to be your best choice for that. It's serviceable. It will work. It was fun to try out and see what it can do. It definitely does get the job done and give you a digital picture, but if you've got a set like this and you need a tuner, you're probably going to want something else.